NCTV45, The Train, anytime on your time.
Today's programming is brought to you by NCTV45 and NC Radio 450, Newcastle's community television station. This program furnished by Sporting Goods, 23 East Washington Street, Newcastle. Call 724-658-2535. These fine businesses provided funding for this program. Gatherings, Town and Country, and On Target.
Welcome everybody to the Cedars Sports Corner. I'm Alex Laverson, and with me as always is our producer, Mr. Angelo Parada. And Angelo, it's been a while since we were able to get together and do another show.
The holidays have been in the way. Then there was the great train robbery.
The great train robbery, huh?
Yeah. You know, I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a Penn State fan. I will cheer for Pitt over and above the Nittany Lions. However, talk about highway robbery with Pitt, Penn State, and Notre Dame. First of all, let's get to the Irish, who are ranked 15th. You know, they had a close game against Georgia and a bad game. Everybody has a bad game. Bad game against Michigan. And then you make them play Iowa State. And Penn State had a season opener with, like, Memphis State, one of those, you know, we're not with the big boys. We, you know, come this close. Now, I don't pick on programs. Okay, if you're a Boise State, if you're undefeated, you deserve a shot. Okay, however, both Notre Dame and Penn State had subpar opponents when they probably should be playing themselves in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Day. Okay.
You know, I remember last show we basically, went over this. Your gripe with the bowl selection, how these matchups happens. Here's the thing for me. Now that we saw how Pitt fared against Eastern Michigan, now they beat them and they went 8-5 for a pretty solid, okay season. Still kind of disappointing for where a lot of fans were hoping they'd be. But yeah, 8-5 is better than 7-6. But considering they only beat Eastern Michigan by 3 points at the end of the game.
Hey, let's be fair to Pitt. That's a no-win situation. If Pitt beats them big, people go, well, Pitt's supposed to beat them big. If Pitt beats them, you can't win playing in Eastern Michigan. You understand what I mean?
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is how the game turned out. Maybe it kind of justified how they were put in a low-tier bowl.
I don't think, because it's a no-win situation. Okay, if Pitt wins, huge. Were they supposed to win?
Well, yeah, so they.
Okay, so if Pitt wins by 4, they were supposed to win, and you go, all happy ding-dongs to Eastern Michigan. Wouldn't a rematch, excuse me, of Pitt, Miami, or somebody, 1 second. Wouldn't that rematch have been better?
It would have been. See, you were so disgusted with the lies you were just saying. You couldn't even you couldn't swallow the baloney you were trying to say.
Yeah, that was a good one. But
Yeah.
a rematch, I would have rather watched a Pitt Miami rematch. Let Louisiana Tech play Eastern Michigan.
Oh, no, Miami lost to
Louisiana Tech. And what are you going to say? That's a no-win situation. If Miami beats Louisiana Tech, Miami's supposed to beat them.
But you know what, though? That was a bad Miami team. Pitt lost to a bad Miami team. The reason Pitt got that bad bowl selection was because they ended the year with 2 losses.
Okay, let's talk about bad bowl selection. Okay, would a Friday, January 3rd, Ohio, Nevada be a better bowl selection?
I mean, to me, that's...
How about Pitt and Tulane on January 4th rather than Southern Miss?
Again, to me, it wouldn't make too much. I wouldn't have cared that much either way because...
Oh, you know what?
Well, I don't... First of all, you don't even know if they'd be in those bowls with the way the ACC.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That alignment stuff is crap.
And I guess what I'm saying is, basically to me, if they weren't going to play for the Coastal Championship, then I was kind of like, But again, if they would have got to 9 wins, that at least would have been a pretty significant improvement since they haven't had more than 8 wins since 2009. But considering they were only going to get 8 wins and they were going to play they played in a pretty low-end bowl, arguably the lowest one. And listen, they have all these people coming back next year. If Pitt has to really break through next year, because I don't know how much longer Narduzzi's going to have. Now, I know he signed through 2024, but these contract extensions for coaches...
You can't recruit when the Southern schools are doing what they're doing. Pitt should have played Tulane. That would have been a better game. Pitt could have played Ohio. That would have been a better game. Okay, Notre Dame should have played Penn State. That would have been a better game. On January 1st, I might add, because Michigan was 14, Alabama was 13, and Notre Dame was 15.
How many wins did Notre Dame finish with this year? 11, right?
Yeah.
11-2. Yeah. That's a really good record.
Okay.
Pitt would kill to have a record like that.
Okay, but they got hosed. They got screwed. Look, number 10 Penn State and number 15 Notre Dame screwed. Memphis, I don't believe they're 17.
Penn State finished number 10 of the year, finished with 11 wins. I think most Nittany Lion fans are pretty happy with that.
But it's a Saturday, the 28th. The big dance gets on. You gotta reward excellence. The big dance is supposed to be on January 1st.
So you're saying, should Pitt, a 7-5 Pitt team who lost their last 2 games,
they should have been playing.
They should have been rewarded?
They should have been playing a Tuesday 31st game rather than Wyoming and Georgia State.
To me, it's basically the same thing. I don't see what a couple extra days and another no-name bowl.
Well, then you don't celebrate New Year's. We better go to break.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And when we come back, we'll talk more about Pitt sports.
If you're craving hot dogs and more, and you're in the area, then look no farther than Coney Island, downtown Newcastle on Kennedy Square.
This program was provided through funding from Cedars Restaurant in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. A special thanks to Cedars, featuring Middle Eastern, Italian, and American cuisine.
Everybody.
Wait, now it's red. See?
Okay. Tell me when to bring us in.
Well, that was a good time.
Okay. Well,
We're having a great 2020.
Angela's mad at me, so he's trying to like pull all these screwy things.
No, it's a holiday. This should be
I know, but you tried to start you tried to get me and start the broadcast when you knew I wasn't ready. You did it on purpose because you always do. And then you laugh at
you went too early.
yeah. But either way, basically, what we were discussing. My point is this: you have all these bowl games. To me, if you take one of these mediocre bowls and put it on January 1st, 2nd, whatever, to me it doesn't make the value of that mediocre bowl any better. Angelo thinks otherwise.
No, I don't think that you should be playing on New Year's Day. Like, let me give you a little history lesson here. Thanksgiving would happen. The week after Thanksgiving was the Army-Navy game. The week after that was the Alonzo Stag Bowl they were like Division 2, Division 3 teams. They would play in that. Then you would have a march to January 1st. So you might have the Liberty Bowl. You might have the Freedom Bowl. You might have the Gator Bowl. They were all marching up. In January 1st, you had Fiesta, Orange, Cotton, Rose, Sugar, and you had those 5 games on New Year's Day. The night before New Year's, Blue Bonnet Bowl, okay, which Pitt played in a lot of Blue Bonnet Bowls. The Sun Bowl, okay, just before, okay. You would have never gotten, and they started this Bowl Alliance bull crap, and you could get a pukey team that finishes 5-5 playing somebody, and and I'm not saying let me rephrase that. You can get a team that's Pitt. Now, what Virginia had a good year, Clemson had a good year, the ACC relatively tough, and they're playing in the Mid-American Conference, and the Mid-American Conference just couldn't stand up day in and day out at the ACC.
Well, see, I don't know. I feel like the ACC Coastal was a pretty down. It was a pretty down year. I felt like the Coastal was wide open. I didn't feel like there was any tough teams.
They get the same quality athlete?
Well, I mean, considering though, okay, so you have a MAC school that almost beat Pitt, an ACC Coastal school. You have Miami lost to Louisiana Tech. I know they're not MAC, but they're another non-Power 5 conference. I don't think the ACC was as good as advertised. I understand what you're saying in terms of bowls, like how it should be the better bowls being played later. Like, I understand that.
It spread the bowls out, and what it did was, and I'm going to try to activate my brain, okay, in this, okay. Like the first bowl would have been the Music City Bowl, okay. The next bowl would have been maybe the one in Detroit. The next bowl would have been the Liberty Bowl, then the Freedom Bowl. Christmas Eve always had the Holiday Bowl, okay. That was played down in San Diego with a WAC team. Okay, not a team that was whacked. Mm-hmm. It would have been, that was a joke, but it would have been San Diego State and Hawaii or something like that. Mm-hmm. Michigan went down and played BYU for the title because BYU was undefeated. Okay. And you would have had that, the Peach Bowl, the Tangerine Bowl, the Gator Bowl, All these would have been a march up to New Year's Eve. You would have had the Blue Bonnet Bowl New Year's Eve. Okay. You would have had the Sun Bowl a few days after Christmas. Pitt played in a lot of Sun Bowls. Okay. And then on New Year's Day, you would have had the big bowls. We have 40 bowls. We counted them at coffee. Now, of those 40 bowls, we went from 32, which had the top 16 teams, to 40, which has the top amount of garbage. That's all I'm saying.
And with that, I think we should take another break. And when we come back for our third and final segment, maybe we'll talk NFL football. And now a word from our sponsors.
This program furnished by the MAD Unit, Mobile Auto Detailing. See Michael Sad at themadunit.com.
Hello, friends. Pinella Brothers, 1701 Hamilton Street, provided funding for this program. Great food and drink, Pinella Brothers.
Welcome back for our third and final segment of the Cedars Sports Corner. As far as NFL football goes, it's not the same following the playoffs without the Steelers, I know. And I don't know what you're doing right there.
I'm waving.
To who?
Well, Bill Belichick and the boys and Tom Brady, you know what they're going to do for the Super Bowl?
Watch it at home.
With everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, I'm glad. I just hope it's over. I just want it to be over. I just want that era to be done with. And I wanted the Bills to.
When you don't know how to call interference.
But championship weekend will be a dandy, I'm sure. But let's transition to college basketball because that's actually something I wanted to talk about. Pitt, I feel like, is on the uprise. The recruits they got coming in, they got a 5-star recruit coming in, number 24 in the country, for the 2022 class. Hopefully his commitment sticks. They beat North Carolina beat North Carolina last week. And here's the deal. They're the type of team that's going to lose games they should win, and they're going to win some games that they end up losing. But I think all in all, Pitt basketball is on the uprise.
Now, excuse me. Let's talk about somebody that's already there. The Duquesne Dukes. Undefeated in Atlantic 10 play. Don't tell me the Atlantic 10 doesn't have anybody, because the Dayton Flyers are number 15. Okay, undefeated in Atlantic 10 play. An overall record of 13-2. And I think the Dukes got their dancing shoes on.
And I'm guessing you're one of those Duke fans who are really upset they didn't play the city game against Pitt this year.
Here's how I feel about that. At first, I was. And then, I wasn't. In those games, what you have to look at is not the game, but the totality of the series. Notre Dame USC might be one of the biggest series in college football. And each of them has runs. Notre Dame will make a 10-year run, and then SC will come back with 6 in a row. Then they'll split a couple, then SC will make a 5-year run, and Notre Dame will come back with 2. Okay, that city game was very indicative of that, because 70s, 80s, it's Duquesne. It transitions over to Pitt. Late 80s, 90s.
2000.
Well, went back and forth. The Dukes won a few. Okay.
And I know Duquesne was able to steal one during the last year of the Kevin Stallings era. And look, good for Duquesne. You know,
I mean,
I just don't understand why there was so much hate and uproar for it. They're going to continue playing a game again. So 1 year without it, you know.
Well, I think the big thing was they don't want it to go the way of the Pitt-Penn State game.
Like where Pitt feels like if they lose to Duquesne, that it's going to hurt them immensely.
I don't think Pitt feels if they lose to Duquesne. I think Pitt was just waiting for Duquesne to get their act together.
Again, listen, here's my thing with that. Okay, so if college basketball is a lot different than college football. Yeah, if you lose one,
I mean, and let's talk about. Let me refresh this too. Let's talk about roots here, because Pitt has a tendency to think they've bumped themselves way up, but understand they were an Eastern 18, okay, and the reason for Pitt's moving into the Big East was to try to break up the A-10, because the A-10 kept putting people in the playoffs.
Well, also you have to remember too, like I was trying to say, if you lose one game of college football to a smaller school, yeah, that can derail your season, your whole playoff chances, things like that. In college basketball, I feel like it's a lot different, especially in today's college basketball, because high-profile teams lose to smaller schools all the time. It happens. Duke lost to, oh God, I can't remember, some low-end school. If you go and look at the standings, these big schools will drop a game to a no-name school, I should say. You know, it happens a lot. You know what I mean? So I don't think it necessarily would damn someone's season like how it would in football.
Now,
you know
Pitt's 11-5 and Notre Dame is 10-5, or 11-4 and 10-5. So, really, when you look at this, the Dukes are playing good basketball and have a great chance to make the tournament.
And I hope they do. I feel like it'd be good for, Pittsburgh basketball in general, because Pittsburgh's known for being a football and baseball city, but it could be, I also want it to be known for good basketball too. Why not? But with that being said, I think that's a wrap. And any last words?
It's time to put up your Dukes. Let's go Duquesne, and hats off to Penn State, Pitt, and Notre Dame, and Utah for getting crapped on.
And hopefully I get my voice back for next show.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.